let's dive down into this. So if you'll remember back, if you listen to the show frequently, with the El Paso region, we kind of did the same thing where right now, none of the teams in the RGV are state ranked. Vela, if you win tonight,
you could break that.
It's happening. It's happening. I will hold Craig Tepper up against the wall until he puts Bella in those rankings. But so what we did is we have the DCTF computer. It's an unfeeling robot. It doesn't have any bias one way or the other. It legitimately has formulas, and it takes statistics, and it puts it all in there, and it gives you a computer rating. So what we did is in each classification in the RGV, I went through and gathered the highest computer rated team. Again, an unfeeling computer robot. They're the highest rated team in each classification. So let's go ahead and dive on in. We'll start with the UIL's largest classification in 6A. It is the Harlingen Cardinals. Starting off at 4-0, Coach Manny Gomez has his team absolutely rolling. Their offense has always looked good, but a 56-0 shutout over Mission Vets in Week 3 and a 21-7 win over Laredo United South. We'll talk more about Harlingen in just a bit. I'm high on the Cardinals.
Yeah.
5A Division 1, it is the shining star of the RGV, the new perennial powerhouse with an unbelievably big game tonight. It is Edinburgh Vela. We will talk again more about them because let's face it, the reason that we wanted to do this segment this week is because that matchup against PSJA North, good Lord, tonight is the highlight. 5A Division 2, the Mission Veterans Memorial Patriots. One of my favorite humans on the planet, David Gilpin, has his team rolling there in 5A Division 2. Moving on, 4A Division 1, it is the FERIA Lions. 4A Division 2, one of the best mascots, the Port Isabel Silver Tarpons.
What is a silver tarpon? Is that a fish?
A tarpon?
Tarpon's a fish, right?
I think is a tarpon not a swordfish?
I think you're right. They're
a
silver. I think they're silver, so that would make a lot of sense. Also, swordfish are scary.
No,
so.
Okay, so they're not. It's it's a big old fish.
It's still scary.
Are tarpon good eating fish? Tarpon is edible, but people rarely eat them because their meat contains a lot of small bones.
Ew.
And it is reported that they don't taste very good.
Okay, then. Well, I guess that's good. Nobody's going to eat them
so
up.
They're the predators, not the prey. Fish are friends, not food. 3A Division 1, we have the Lyford Bulldogs. And then rounding it all out with our smallest classifications in the RGV, that is 3A Division 2, the Santa Rosa Warriors, off to a very nice 3-1 start. And then the Fremont Cowboys round it all out in the RGV smallest classification and 2A Division 1. So again, that was according to the computer rating, not the DCTF rankings. That is different, but the computer takes them all, ranks them, and those were the ratings. So with that all being said, we've got the teams out of the way. Let's go over to our, my dad, true story. I was talking to my dad last night on the phone, and he was like, yeah, well, Mallory's the concierge of vibes. And I was like, I usually say coordinator, but we were talking about booking hotels. Okay. That's why.
I like that. I like it because it's classier.
Concierge of vibes.
Yeah, vibes.
For our players to watch in the Rio Grande Valley.
All right, let's get to some really good ones here. Let's start off real strong. We'll start off in the highest classification here with Los Fresnos quarterback Robert Pineda. Pineda. Okay, nice. All right, if you haven't heard of this guy, this is his first year on varsity. Okay. You want to know why? He's a freshman.
Wow.
A freshman
I didn't even realize
starting quarterback, and he's already going to camps. He visited Baylor this past summer, already getting the ball rolling. He's a dual threat quarterback he's super quick, super elusive on the field, and he can just make plays happen. And of course, he's a little undersized right now, which is expected because he's only starting right now as a freshman.
Yeah, he's like what, 14?
Yeah, exactly, 14, maybe 15 if you're lucky here. But of course, he's expected to grow. He's got Los Fresnos just rolling right now, 3-1 record. He was named the RGV Sports Player of the Week 2 weeks ago in their 36-33 win over PSJA. Already, he has thrown for 495 yards and 6 touchdowns while rushing for 432 yards and 4 touchdowns on the ground. And Now, I wouldn't typically bring this stat up because it's just not usually relevant, but here it is relevant. He led his 7th and 8th grade team to an undefeated season, claiming district titles both years.
Wow.
So this dude...
So yeah, man, a name to know. No
Watch
kidding.
out for him. I'm saying, like, if I can pull like a Mike Roach right now, look out for this guy. Like, I'm gonna be looking. He's gonna be my guy.
2027,
2026. Yep. So look out for this guy. He's an explosive player.
I'll be interested.
He's gonna be real good.
I want to see what his because he looks like he's got a little bit of height on him actually. So I would be interested to see what his parents look like. Like, is he going to really kind of grow? Because if he can grow a little bit, that's a force to be reckoned with down there.
Right. I mean, he's already putting up those numbers like that.
All right, you heard it here first. When this kid's going D1 at some point, Mallory's going to wave the banner. Hire her now. Don't hire her.
Yeah. Don't hire me. I like it here.
Good.
Let's head on over to, you've heard his name already this show, Edinburgh Vela defensive end Jake Duffner. He stands at 6'1", weighing 205 pounds. The standout earned District 31 6A defensive MVP last year in the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. And, man, this dude gives opponents a lot of trouble. Like we mentioned earlier, Edinburgh Vela shut out McAllen Memorial. And Duffner, well, I guess this was last week, and Duffner was really just a difference maker down there. He batted down 2 passes in the backfield, had multiple tackles, and helped force a fumble that eventually led to a Vela touchdown. And the defense... Listen to this. The defense as a whole, I know that Bella already brought this up, but the defense as a whole over there at Vela has only allowed 34 points all season, holding each team to 2 scores or even less than that, shutting them out like they did last week.
Yeah, I did the math earlier. I think it comes out to like 8.75 points per game or something. Yeah. Like that's wild.
Yeah, that defensive unit over there
is
huge
just too.
Wild. Yeah. Moving on down, PSJA North running back Jason Montez. We'll actually get to see Montez and Duffner go head-to-head tonight.
Let's go.
So I'm really excited about this.
Let's go.
Montez has got some good size. He's 5'8", 185 pounds, but, man, he is quick. He's recorded 512 yards and 3 touchdowns this season so far. And the thing about PSJA North, we've already talked about it a little bit, that offensive line is just incredible. And to prove this, listen to this. In the first game that PSJA North played this season, they played PSJA, the Raiders had 8 different running backs carry the ball 49 times. So if that doesn't speak to how good this offensive line is as a unit, I don't know what else does.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely not.
All right, let's look at another 5A player, Mission Memorial linebacker Luis De Hoyos. He's part of the Blue Dog defense, is what they call them.
Blue Dogs.
That's pretty cool, being a 3-year starter on a varsity. All right, that was good.
Thank you. The
really
Dog
good.
Pound.
Yeah, the Dog Pound.
It is me, the Dog Pound.
The creator of dog voices. Dog Pound. Blue Dog defense. I want to be a part of the Blue Dog defense, man. That sounds pretty. Coach Gilpin
would let us be a part of the Blue Dog defense. We're shout out Goming Green. Shout out Coach Gilpin, Goming Green.
Yeah, we'll have to send this to him. That's hilarious. But anyways, De Hoyos ranks 13th in the region for total tackles. He's checking in with 39 tackles. 2 tackles for a loss, 1 sack, and 1 interception already on this season. This dude is just downright physical when it comes to tackling other players, and often little or no yards gained in a game. But, man, he's a beast out there. One that Coach Gilpin should be thrilled to have as a backer.
My guy.
All right, let's get to Port Isabel quarterback Rodolfo, or Rudy, as he goes by, Barrera. He is the District 16 4A Division II preseason offensive MVP. He stands at 5'8", weighing 190 pounds. And, man, he's got a great physique for a running quarterback, and he's quick on his feet. He's already rushed for 281 yards and 4 touchdowns, helping the Tarpons in their 3-1 season start. And Port Isabel hasn't been fantastic in years past, but, man, with Tony Villarreal, I believe that's how you say his last name.
Villarreal.
Yes, at the helm and Barrera under center the past 2 seasons, they have really been able to turn that program around. I think couple years ago they had like maybe 3 wins, but last year they went 8-4, and of course this year starting out 3-1. That's incredible.
Yep.
And to round it all out, let's go down to 2A. Fremont running back and defensive back Andrew Christian. He is the 16 2A Division I preseason offensive MVP and has led the way for the Cowboys in their 3-1 season start. He's already rushed for 803 yards and 11 touchdowns in just 4 games. He is just a dynamic playmaker who also, in fact, lines up at safety as well. He's just super quick, and he also runs track too. So that definitely speaks to his quickness.
Yeah, there. He's like, why run a 400 when I can just run into the end zone?
Yep, that's exactly right. So there you go. There are some players to watch in the RGV region.
Having the V and then region right after that, it's
tough.
It's a little bit of a tongue twister.
Yeah, of course, there's talent all over that region, but those are a couple of players that have stood out so far already this season. So
there we go, our concierge of vibes, and now our concierge of vibes will bring immaculate vibes because it's time for Stonks.
Always try your hand of Stonks. Always try.
Oh, it's so good you gotta run it twice.
Jeez.
Stonks.
Man, I was not prepared for that, dude.
Amazing. Let's take a look at some stonks here. And the stonks are they're stonking hard. They're
stonking hard. Yeah,
we are excelling in stonks because we've talked about them all day, but let's talk about the Edinburgh Baylor Sabercats. We won't spend too much time on this, but this truly is. This game tonight with PSJA North is going to be one of the biggest games that's been played in the RGV, especially in the regular season for a long time, because you look at the scope of 5A Division 1, you look at Region 4, you've heard us say it over and over again. If Vela can go out there, and you heard Bella, she is calling it. She really likes PSJA North. So maybe there's something that we just haven't seen as much. I am still very, very much high on Edinburgh Vela. I think if they go out there tonight and they truly put one on PSJA North, then I think that's sending signals to the entire state that they're not good for Valley standards. They're good for the state of Texas standards.
And I think to speak a little bit to that is if you look at their record so far, they're 4-0, right? But they are just blowing people out of the water. And the thing that's most impressive about Vela so far is that they're kind of dominant in all 3 phases of the game, especially special teams. They had like 3 special teams touchdowns.
Yeah, 3 punt returns last week.
3 punt returns for a touch. Like that's insane. But I think that, man, if they win tonight, they absolutely deserve to be ranked. And like you said, not just good for the RGV, but literally they're a contender for the entire state.
Yeah, the offensive line with Ronnie Ramirez and Noah Racha has been outstanding. It opens those holes for DeLon and Polly to run through. They each had 3 rushing touchdowns last week. So, I mean, the ground game is absolutely there. This game honestly has a chance to go by really quickly tonight because both of these teams are really ground and pound. They're going to want to fight till the battle there. So the battle to watch out for tonight is going to be in the trenches. Which defensive line is going to be able to stop the opposite's rushing attack? I think that's going to be a battle that will be quite interesting to see how it goes down. But I genuinely think Vela can do it. I think that they can make it to that state semifinal game. They would obviously have a big test then taking on an opponent from Region 3. But this is the best shot that we thought maybe, the Landry Gilpin year, Mission Veterans Memorial in 2018, our Mr. Texas Football Player of the Year, they made it 4 rounds deep. Then we thought maybe it would happen when Eddie Lee Marburger was at Sherilyn Pioneer. We let ELM cook. I was there at that game when they lost to Liberty Hill. They almost had it to get to the 4th round. So this genuinely seems like all paths are pointing to Vela. If they can get this done tonight in a very good fashion, we will come away with it. They will be ranked after that, and they will be solidifying themselves as the favorite in Region 4. So interested to see that. The other stonks that I think are trending up in a really good direction, and I don't think this might come as a shock, but when it talks about playoff scope is when it might come into a shock there. The Harlingen Cardinals, so Coach Manny Gomez always has consistency for Harlingen. The game that the Dave Campbell's crew is going down for is the Battle of the Eau Royale, which will be Harlingen and San Benito, so that'll be a big test, but Harlingen has been, really having their way with people so far. I mean, a 56-0 shutout over Mission Veterans Memorial, which, I mean, they were the team that in week 1 they took down Mission in that crosstown rivalry, and we're going, okay, maybe they're really good
legit?
to go out there and beat them 56-0. That is insane. They beat Laredo United South 21-7, and here's why I think that is a little bit interesting, because when you look at the playoff scope, again, we're sticking in Region 4 here. We're all the way down in the southern part of Texas. In their district this year, they are the 3rd largest school in that district, and it looks to me like something really crazy would have to happen for them not to go 6A Division II in the playoff split, because Los Fresnos and San Benito are both larger schools than them, and then it's them and Weslaco. So they're bigger than Weslaco, and then the 2 other schools are Brownsville Hanna and Brownsville Riviera, and that's in 32-6A. So in my mind, I think that it's going to be very, very difficult for the Brownsville schools to be able to take down really any of those teams, because San Benito, Los Fresnos, Harlingen, and Weslaco are all very good teams. 3 of them are 4-0, and then the other one is 3-1.
Yeah.
So I think that ends up boding well for them this year, because it is almost a lock that Lake Travis and Westlake are going to go D1. Now, that might sound crazy, but stick with me here. That's where the key factor here is when you take a look at what a winner, like if Harlingen could win this district, if you take a look at what they would have to do throughout the playoffs, they're going to inevitably end up against someone out of 26-6A, which is really that power nexus district in 6A Region 4. So most of the time, Lake Travis and Westlake will split. Well, if they're both guaranteed to go up, there is a new player in the clubhouse, and that's Dripping Springs, now being moved up from 5A Division 1 to 26-6A. And I think that it's likely that Dripping Springs will end up being the 3rd team in that district. Hell, maybe Dripping Springs could beat Lake Travis, and that would still push Lake Travis back there. So they're going to have that one big test. But I think anything other than that, I think they have a really good shot to meet up with someone in the regional semis. And at this point in the year, honestly, if somehow it was Lake Travis won't drop down. But in years past, they would end up in 6A Division 1 with Lake Travis. This could have been the year that they at least could have put up a fight, you know?
Right.
So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see who kind of gets that 3rd seed there. Will it be Austin Bowie? Will it be Dripping Springs? Whoever that is, it looks like the bottom part should be a fairly easy way to at least the regional semis, which at that point you're in the 3rd round of the playoffs, and that's what you're looking for. So I think if the Cardinals can really stick to this, if its defense continues to look as good as it has, there's some noise to be had down there for another RGV team, at least in the 6A ranks, to at least the 3rd round. And I mean, you can't complain about that.
No. So technically, you've got 2 shots down there to maybe see a team make it to AT&T Stadium. Pretty good chances, I would say, of course, barring enrollment and stuff like that. But yeah, you got some good chances of maybe seeing an RGV. Man, can you imagine that stadium?
Yeah.
If an RGV team makes it to AT&T Stadium, it's gonna be rocking.
Because there's we've talked about that in the Dave Campbell's offices. I know that Step mentioned it on Tep and Step, but there is a chance that we could see Longview and Edinburgh Vela in the 5A Division 1 state championships. There would legitimately be 75,000 people in AT&T Stadium if that happened. Because
more than a Cowboys game, I'd say.
At this point, yeah,
literally.
I'm not buying in on this Cooper Rush crap. It'll all fall. Don't get me started on that. The hype part here
We're
is
talking about
that
RGV here.
There is legitimately a chance that an RGV team can do it this year. A lot of that will be depending on tonight, how it goes with Edinburgh Vela, PSJ North. That one going down tonight. Matt Stepp will be there. We think it might be being streamed. If it's not, you can follow along on Twitter. But that'll do it.